Captain Daewon walked slowly through the long metal corridors of the UHS Indomitable. His boots made soft sounds on the clean floor. The ship was quiet this morning. He liked it this way. It gave him time to think. The Indomitable was not a warship. It was a diplomatic vessel. Its job was to help different alien species talk to each other and solve problems peacefully. Daewon had been its captain for 3 years now. In that time, he had helped stop 2 wars and saved countless lives. He was proud of that. As he walked, he passed windows that showed the stars outside. They were in the Theta Quadrant, far from Earth. This part of space was considered neutral territory. No one owned it. No one fought here. The laws of the Galactic Consortium protected everyone who traveled through these stars. Daewon stopped at one of the windows. He could see a small planet in the distance. It was blue and green like Earth. He thought about his own children back home. His daughter was 7 now. His son was 5. He missed them every day, but his work here was important. He was helping build a peaceful galaxy for them to grow up in. He continued walking until he reached the medical bay. The doors opened automatically. Inside, he could hear children laughing. The sound made him smile. Dr. Hana had turned part of the medical bay into a school. She taught the refugee children every morning. There were 12 human children and several alien children, too. They had all lost their homes when their colonies failed or were destroyed by natural disasters. The Indomitable was taking them to safe places where they could start new lives. Daewon watched from the doorway. Dr. Hana was showing the children a hologram of different star systems. She was teaching them galactic geography. A small girl with black hair sat in the front row. Her name was Mina. She was 5 years old, the same age as his son. She clutched a stuffed bear in her arms and raised her hand to ask a question. Dr. Hana noticed the captain and waved at him. The children all turned to look. They smiled and waved too. Daewon waved back and left them to their lesson. His heart felt warm. This was why he did this job. These children would have good lives. They would be safe. Later that day, Daewon was on the bridge. This was the command center of the ship. Lieutenant Taesu was working at his station, monitoring communications. Ambassador Vreth stood nearby. Vreth was an insectoid alien with large compound eyes and 6 arms. He represented the Galactic Consortium aboard the ship. Lieutenant Taesu suddenly looked up from his screen. He looked worried. "Captain, we have a situation," he said. 2 crew members are arguing near the cargo bay. It might turn violent. Daewon nodded. "Send a security team and tell them to follow protocol. We do this by the book." Taesu worked quickly. Within minutes, the situation was handled peacefully. The 2 crew members agreed to mediation. No one was hurt. No weapons were drawn. Everything was done according to galactic law. Ambassador Vreth made a clicking sound with his mandibles. It was how his species showed approval. "Excellent work, Captain. Humanity has adapted well to civilized protocols. You have learned to control your aggressive tendencies." Daewon smiled politely. He did not like how Vreth talked about humans. The ambassador always made it sound like humans were barely tamed animals. But Daewon said nothing. Diplomacy required patience. An hour later, the ship's sensors detected something. Lieutenant Taesu studied his screens carefully. "Captain, we have incoming vessels. Multiple ships. They are Dravith Empire military." Daewon felt a small worry in his chest. The Dravith Empire was known for being aggressive. They were a warrior culture. They believed strength was the only thing that mattered. But this was neutral space. They could not attack here. The law protected them. "Open a communication channel," Daewon ordered. A moment later, a reptilian face appeared on the main screen. The Dravith commander had green scales and sharp teeth. His eyes were cold and yellow. "This is Captain Daewon of the UHS Indomitable," Daewon said calmly. "We are a diplomatic vessel operating under consortium protection. We are in neutral space. We mean you no harm," the Dravith commander laughed. It was not a friendly sound. "A human ship," he said with contempt. "You weak creatures hide behind laws and treaties. You have no honor, no strength." Daewon kept his face calm. "We do not seek conflict. We are simply passing through. We will be gone from this sector in 6 hours." The Dravith commander stared at him for a long moment. Then he laughed again. 6 hours, yes, run away, little human. That is what your kind does best." The communication ended. Lieutenant Taesu looked at the captain. Should we be worried, sir? Daewon shook his head. No. They are just testing us, trying to intimidate us. But they will not attack. The law is absolute in neutral space. Even the Dravith would not be foolish enough to break it. Ambassador Vreth nodded his agreement. The captain is correct. No species has violated neutral space in over 200 years. The consequences would be too severe. You are perfectly safe. That evening, Daewon visited the medical bay again. Dr. Hana was tucking the children into their beds. It was sleeping time. Mina was already under her blanket, holding her stuffed bear close. Dr. Hana sat on the edge of Mina's bed and opened a book. She began reading a story about brave explorers who discovered new worlds. Mina listened with wide eyes. When the story ended, Mina looked up at Dr. Hana. "Are we safe here?" she asked quietly. Dr. Hana smiled and stroked the girl's hair. "Of course we are safe, sweetie. This ship is protected by law, and Captain Daewon is very smart. He keeps everyone safe. Nothing bad will happen to you. I promise." Mina smiled and closed her eyes. "Okay. Good night, Dr. Hana. Good night, little one. Sleep well." Dr. Hana turned off the lights and left the room. She passed Captain Daewon in the hallway. "They are all asleep," she told him. "Good, thank you for taking care of them." Dr. Hana smiled. "It is my honor. These children have been through so much. They deserve peace and safety." Daewon nodded. "And they have it. Here on this ship they are protected." The two of them walked to the observation deck. Through the large windows they could see the stars. In the distance the Dravith ships were visible as small lights. They were still there, watching, waiting. Dr. Hana looked at the ships. "They make me nervous. They should not," Daewon said. "The law protects us. They cannot attack. No one breaks the law in neutral space. It has not happened in centuries." Dr. Hana wanted to believe him. She knew he was right. The laws had kept peace in the galaxy for hundreds of years. They were strong. They were absolute. Everyone followed them, but still she felt uneasy. She looked at the Dravith ships again. Something felt wrong. She could not explain it. It was just a feeling. Daewon noticed her expression. "Get some rest, Doctor. Tomorrow we will be out of this sector." "Everything will be fine." Dr. Hana nodded and left. Daewon stayed at the window for a while longer. He watched the stars and thought about his children. He thought about Mina and the other young ones sleeping peacefully in the medical bay. He had promised to keep them safe, and he would. The law would protect them all. It always had. It always would. He believed that completely. He had no idea how wrong he was. The alarm woke everyone at 300 hours. It was loud and urgent. Red lights flashed throughout the ship. Captain Daewon ran to the bridge, still pulling on his uniform jacket. His heart was pounding. "Report," he shouted as he reached his command chair. Lieutenant Tae-Soo looked pale. His hands shook as he worked his controls. "The Dravith ships, sir. They are powering weapons. All of them. They are targeting us." Daewon felt ice in his stomach. That was impossible. They were in neutral space. The law protected them. "Open all channels, now." The communication system activated. Daewon spoke clearly and calmly, though his heart raced. "This is Captain Daewon of the UHS Indomitable. We are a protected diplomatic vessel. You are violating galactic law. Stand down immediately." The Dravith commander appeared on the screen. He was smiling. His sharp teeth gleamed. "Law," he said mockingly. "Law is for the weak. We are strong. We take what we want. And right now we want to show the galaxy what happens to humans who think they are safe." "Wait," Daewon shouted. "We have civilians aboard. We have children. Let us evacuate them, please." The Dravith commander laughed. "That just makes it more interesting." Fire. The first blast hit the Indomitable's port side. The entire ship shook violently. People fell from their chairs. Lights flickered and went out. Emergency systems kicked in with dim red lighting. "Shields at 20%. Tae-Soo called out. "Hull breach on decks 5 and 6. We cannot survive another hit like that." "Return fire," Daewon ordered. "Sir, we are a diplomatic ship. Our weapons are minimal. We cannot hurt them." Ambassador Vreth stood frozen, his compound eyes wide with shock. "This is impossible," he whispered. "They broke the law. They actually broke the law." Another blast hit the ship. Then another. The Indomitable was dying. Daewon knew it. "All crew, abandon ship. Get to the escape pods. Evacuate all civilians first. Move." Throughout the ship, people ran through smoke-filled corridors. Alarms screamed. Fires burned in several sections. The artificial gravity was failing, making it hard to walk. In the medical bay, Dr. Hana was already moving. She woke the children and gathered them together. "Do not be afraid," she told them, though she was terrified herself. "We are going to the escape pods. Hold hands. Stay together. Everything will be okay." Mina clutched her stuffed bear with one hand and Dr. Hana's hand with the other. The little girl's eyes were wide with fear, but she did not cry. She was being brave. Dr. Hana led them into the corridor. Smoke made it hard to see. The emergency lights cast everything in red. They moved toward the escape pod bay. They were almost there. Just 50 more meters. Then the wall exploded. The blast threw everyone to the floor. Dr. Hana's ears rang. She could not hear anything. She looked up and saw armored figures climbing through the hole in the wall. Dravith soldiers. They had boarded the ship. Dr. Hana pushed herself up. She put herself between the soldiers and the children. "Please," she said. "They are just children. Let them go. Take me instead." The lead Dravith soldier looked at her. Then he looked at the children cowering behind her. He raised his weapon. "No," Dr. Hana screamed. She spread her arms wide, trying to shield them all. The soldier fired. Dr. Hana fell. She did not get up. The children screamed. They tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The Dravith soldiers advanced. They were not taking prisoners. They were killing everyone they found. 6 children died in the next 30 seconds. 3 humans and 3 aliens. They were shot down as they tried to flee. Their small bodies fell in the red emergency lighting. Mina had fallen when Dr. Hana died. The doctor's body had landed on top of her, protecting her. Mina lay very still, too scared to move. She could hear the soldiers' heavy boots walking around. She heard their weapons firing. She heard other children crying, then silence. Then human security forces arrived. They fought the Dravith soldiers. They were shooting, shouting. The fight lasted 2 minutes. The Dravith soldiers retreated back through the hole in the wall. But the damage was done. Captain Daewon arrived moments later. He ran into the corridor and stopped. His blood turned to ice. He saw Dr. Hana's body. He saw the dead children. He could not breathe, then he heard it. A small sound, a whimper. He ran to Dr. Hana and carefully moved her body. Underneath was Mina. The little girl was still alive, but barely. Blood soaked her clothes. She had been shot in the chest. Daewon gently lifted her. "Mina," he said softly. "Mina, can you hear me?" The girl's eyes opened slightly. She looked at him. Her stuffed bear lay on the floor nearby, covered in blood. "You are going to be okay," Daewon lied. His voice broke. "You are safe now. I promise." Mina's lips moved. She was trying to say something. Daewon leaned closer, putting his ear near her mouth. The little girl used her last bit of strength to whisper one word. "Run." Then her eyes closed. Her body went still. She was gone. Daewon held her small body. He did not move. He did not speak. His face showed nothing, no anger, no sadness, nothing. Something inside him had broken completely. Lieutenant Tae-Soo found him there, still holding the dead child. "Sir, we need to go. The ship is breaking apart. We have to evacuate now." Daewon carefully laid Mina down. He took off his jacket and covered her body with it. He picked up her stuffed bear and put it in her arms. Then he stood up. Tae-Soo looked at his captain's face and felt afraid. He had never seen such emptiness in a person's eyes before. "Record everything," Daewon said quietly. "Every body, every face. Document it all, sir? Do it. Now. Make sure it is all recorded. Every detail." Tae-Soo activated his recording device. He captured everything. The destroyed corridor, Dr. Hana's body, the 6 dead children, Mina's small form under the captain's jacket. When it was done, Daewon and the surviving crew made it to an escape pod. The Indomitable exploded behind them as they fled. The Dravith ships let them go. They had made their point. They had shown that humans were weak, that the law meant nothing, that strength was all that mattered. In the escape pod, Daewon sat in silence. Ambassador Vreth sat nearby, still in shock. "This should not have happened," the alien whispered. "The law should have protected us." Daewon said nothing. He opened a communication channel to Earth Fleet Command. His hands were steady. His voice was calm and flat without any emotion at all. "This is Captain Daewon. The UHS Indomitable has been destroyed by Dravith Empire forces in neutral space. They violated galactic law. They boarded our ship. They murdered our crew. They killed our children. He paused, then added, Dr. Hana is dead. 6 children are dead. Mina's last word was run. He attached the video recordings and sent the message. Then he sat back and stared at nothing. Lieutenant Tesu watched his captain and felt cold. He had known Daewon for 3 years. He had never seen him like this. The captain had always been warm, kind, diplomatic. Now he looked like a statue, empty, cold, dead inside. What happens now, sir? Tesu asked quietly. Daewon looked at him with those empty eyes. Now the Dravith learn what happens when you kill human children. His voice was soft, but it carried a promise of something terrible, something that would make the galaxy tremble. The message from Captain Daewon reached Earth 12 hours later. It arrived at Fleet Command headquarters in Geneva at 1400 hours local time. Admiral Yuna was in a strategy meeting when her aide interrupted. The young man's face was pale. Admiral, you need to see this immediately. It is from the Indomitable. Admiral Yuna took the data pad. She pressed play on the video file. Her face showed nothing as she watched. She had learned long ago to control her emotions. She had lost her own family years ago in the border wars. She knew pain. She knew loss, but this was different. She watched Dr. Hana die. She watched children fall. She saw Mina's small body. She heard the captain's voice reporting the girl's last word. Run. Admiral Yuna set down the data pad carefully. Her hands did not shake. Her voice was steady when she spoke. Clear this room. Everyone out except command staff. Lock the doors. Scramble all communications. No one outside this building knows what happened yet. We have a small window. Within minutes, the room was cleared. Only the highest-ranking military officers remained. 12 men and women who commanded Earth's entire defense fleet. They watched the video in silence. When it ended, no one spoke for a long moment. Finally, one general broke the silence. They killed children. In neutral space. They broke every law, Admiral Yuna nodded. The law failed to protect them. The Galactic Consortium's laws, treaties, and rules could not save those children. The system we trusted is broken. Another officer spoke. What do we do? Admiral Yuna looked at each of them. We do what humans have always done when someone threatens our children. We eliminate the threat completely forever. You mean war, an officer said. No, Admiral Yuna replied. War has rules. War has limits. War ends with treaties and peace. This is not war. This is extermination. The Dravith Empire ends. Every ship. Every military base. Every leader. All of it gone. The room was silent. They all understood what she meant. This would be genocide. Total destruction of an entire civilization. The consequences, one general said quietly. The galaxy will condemn us. Let them, Admiral Yuna said coldly. Let them fear us. Let every species in the galaxy understand this simple rule. Touch a human child and your civilization dies. No exceptions, no mercy. They wanted to see humanity's true nature. We will show them. Activate Operation Honey Badger. Within an hour, mobilization orders went out to every human colony, every military base, every ship. From Mars to the outer colonies, the message was the same. Prepare for immediate deployment. Target Dravith Empire. Objective, total destruction. Across human space, people saw the footage. It spread through every network, every screen. Parents held their children closer. Veterans remembered old battles. Young people felt anger they had never known before. A cold, terrible anger that demanded justice. But this was not just anger. This was something deeper, something primal, an ancient instinct that lived in every human heart. Protect the young. At any cost. The Galactic Consortium learned of the attack 6 hours after Earth did. Emergency sessions were called. Ambassador Vreth, still shaken from the Indomitable, testified before the Council. He told them everything he had seen. The Council was horrified. This violation of law was unprecedented. They immediately voted to sanction the Dravith Empire. They would impose economic penalties, trade restrictions, diplomatic isolation. These were powerful tools. They had kept peace for centuries. Then Earth's response arrived. It was a short message from Admiral Yuna. The consortium watched it together in the council chambers. To the Galactic Consortium, Admiral Yuna began. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. Your laws failed to protect our children. Your systems failed. Your promises of safety were lies. We will no longer trust galactic law to keep us safe. From this moment forward, humanity enforces its own justice. She paused, then continued. The Dravith Empire has 72 hours, 3 days. They should use that time to make peace with their gods, to say goodbye to their loved ones, to run. Because when those 72 hours end, their civilization ends with it. The message ended with a list. 7 names. 7 faces, Dr. Hana, 6 children. The last was Mina, age 5. Her picture showed her smiling, holding her stuffed bear. These are the ones who died, Admiral Yuna said. Remember their faces. Remember what the Dravith did. And understand, this is what happens when you murder human children. Your species ends. The transmission ended. The council chamber erupted in panic. This was genocide. This was illegal. This violated every principle the consortium stood for. They had to stop Earth. They had to prevent this catastrophe, but how? Ambassador Vreth stood slowly. His voice cut through the chaos. You cannot stop them. I have seen what humans become when you push them this far. They are not going to war. They are going hunting. And we cannot stop hunters this determined. Surely we can negotiate, another ambassador said. We can offer mediation. Peace talks. Vreth shook his head. You still do not understand. Humans are not like us. When we are threatened, we calculate risk. We measure consequences. We act rationally. But humans, when you threaten their children, something changes in them. They become something else. Something terrible. He pulled up data on the main screen. Historical records from Earth. Wars throughout human history. He showed them pattern after pattern. When humans fought for territory, they could be reasoned with. When they fought for resources, they could be negotiated with. But when they fought to protect their young, they never stopped, never surrendered, never showed mercy. They are apex predators, Vreth said quietly. We forgot that. We saw them being diplomatic and peaceful for a few decades. We thought they had evolved beyond their violent nature. We were wrong. They were just being patient, waiting. And now the Dravith have given them a reason to stop waiting. Meanwhile, the human fleet gathered. Ships from every colony converged on rally points near the Theta Quadrant. Destroyers, carriers, battleships. Some were official military vessels. Others were civilian ships that had been quickly armed. Old veterans came out of retirement and took control of ancient warships that should have been decommissioned years ago. No one questioned the orders. No one refused to fight. This was not a military operation requiring orders and discipline. This was a collective human response to the worst crime imaginable. Every human understood. Every human agreed. The ships were painted black. All identification markers were removed. They did not fly under any flag. This was not the Earth Defense Fleet anymore. This was something older, something primal. This was a hunting party. Captain Daewon was given command of the assault carrier Retribution. It was one of the newest ships in the fleet, designed for planetary invasion. He stood on its bridge with Lieutenant Tesu beside him. Both men had changed. The warmth was gone from their eyes. The kindness was gone from their voices. They prepared their weapons in silence. Around them, the crew worked with quiet efficiency. No one joked. No one smiled. They checked targeting systems. They loaded weapons. They plotted jump coordinates. And they waited. Admiral Yuna's flagship, the Vindicator, was at the center of the fleet. 300 warships surrounded it. More were coming. Within 48 hours, humanity would have over 500 combat vessels in position. The largest military force humans had ever assembled. And every single ship had one purpose. Make the Dravith Empire cease to exist. The Dravith Empire received Earth's message with contempt. War Prince Kalth laughed when he heard the 72-hour warning. He called his military commanders together. They would crush this human fleet easily. Humans were weak, emotional. They would break quickly. But some of his advisors were worried. They had studied human history. They knew what humans were capable of. They suggested perhaps evacuating civilians, perhaps trying diplomacy. War Prince Kalth executed 2 of these advisors for cowardice. The rest stayed silent. They would fight. They would show these humans true strength. The 72 hours counted down. Across the galaxy, species watched and waited. Some hoped for peace. Some prepared for war. Everyone understood that what happened next would change everything. On the bridge of the Vindicator, Admiral Yuna watched the countdown timer. She thought about Mina, about Dr. Hana, about all the times in human history when someone had hurt a child and unleashed the full fury of humanity. She spoke quietly to her communications officer. When the timer reaches 0, send the final message to the Dravith. Tell them Mina's last word. Tell them to run, and then? The officer asked. Admiral Una smiled. It was not a kind smile. Then we show them what hell looks like. The 72 hours ended at exactly 0600 hours Galactic Standard Time. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Dravith space. 537 warships appeared all at once. They hung in space like a wall of black death. On the bridge of the Vindicator, Admiral Una sat perfectly still in her command chair. Around her, officers worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. No one spoke unless necessary. There was no excitement, no fear. Just cold determination. Send the message, Admiral Una ordered. The message was simple. Just one word, transmitted on all frequencies. Run. Then the human fleet moved forward. War Prince Kalth stood in his command center on the Dravith homeworld. He watched the sensor readings with satisfaction. 500 ships. It was a large fleet, yes. But the Dravith Empire had over 1,000 warships. They had planetary defenses. They had superior numbers. Deploy the fleet, he ordered. Show these humans what real military power looks like. The Dravith military responded immediately. Ships launched from orbital stations. Battle groups formed defensive positions. Weapons came online. They were ready. The two fleets met in the space between stars. For a moment, nothing happened. Just two massive forces facing each other across the void. Then the humans opened fire. The galaxy had never seen weapons like this before. For decades, humans had followed galactic treaties limiting military technology. They had shown only basic defensive weapons. The consortium had believed humans were technologically inferior. They were wrong. The first wave of human weapons tore through Dravith shields like they were not there. Kinetic rounds moving at relativistic speeds, plasma beams that burned through armor in seconds, missiles that predicted and countered every defensive maneuver. Dravith ships exploded, dozens of them in the first minute, then hundreds. The battle that War Prince Kalth thought would last hours was over in 17 minutes. 17 minutes, 1,000 Dravith warships reduced to debris. The human fleet had not lost a single vessel. War Prince Kalth stared at his screens in disbelief. This was impossible. No species had this kind of military technology. Where had humans hidden these weapons? The answer was simple. Humans had always had them. They had just never needed to use them before. Treaties and diplomacy had worked. Peace had been maintained. But now peace was over. Now the galaxy would see what humans built when they expected war. The human fleet did not stop. They moved deeper into Dravith space. Every military installation was destroyed. Orbital platforms, defense stations, supply depots, all of it was systematically eliminated with terrifying efficiency. Dravith civilian ships tried to flee. They broadcast surrender signals. They begged for mercy. They showed recordings of children aboard their vessels. On the bridge of the Retribution, Captain Daewon received these transmissions. Lieutenant Tesu looked at him. Sir, they have civilians, children. Should we let them pass? Daewon's face showed nothing. They killed our children. Now they understand what that means. Destroy them. But sir, that is an order, Lieutenant. Destroy them all. Tesu hesitated for only a second. Then he gave the order. The fleeing civilian ships were intercepted and destroyed. All of them. The human fleet showed the same mercy the Dravith had shown to Mina and the other children. None at all. Across the galaxy, other species watched in horror. The Galactic Consortium sent desperate messages to Earth. They pleaded for humanity to stop. This was genocide. This was against every law. This would make humans war criminals. Admiral Una received these messages. She deleted them without reading them. She had no interest in what the consortium had to say. Their laws had failed. Now humanity wrote new laws with fire and death. Ambassador Vreth watched from a consortium observation ship at a safe distance. He had warned them. He had told them what humans would become. Now everyone was seeing it. The peaceful diplomatic humans were gone. In their place was something ancient and terrible. Something that did not stop, did not forgive, did not show mercy. Within 60 hours, the human fleet reached the Dravith homeworld. War Prince Kalth had retreated there with what remained of his forces. Planetary shields were at maximum power. Every defense battery was online. The planet was a fortress. It did not matter. Admiral Yuna opened a communication channel directly to the planet's surface. Her image appeared on every screen across the Dravith homeworld. Millions of Dravith civilians saw her face. People of the Dravith Empire, she said. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. Your leaders murdered human children. They violated the most sacred law that exists, the protection of the innocent. For this crime, your civilization ends today. She paused, then showed them something. Footage of Mina. The little girl smiling, playing, learning, then footage of her death. The image of her small body under Captain Day One's jacket. This child was 5 years old, Admiral Yuna continued. Her name was Mina. Your soldiers murdered her. They murdered 6 others. For this, your species pays the price. You have 1 hour to evacuate your homeworld. Take your families and leave. This planet will not exist after that hour ends. The transmission ended. Panic spread across the Dravith homeworld. Millions tried to flee. Ships launched in every direction. The human fleet let them go. They were not here to kill civilians. They were here to destroy the civilization that had created monsters who killed children. War Prince Kalth sat in his throne room, watching his empire collapse. He had miscalculated badly. He had thought humans were weak. He had been so very wrong. A communication request came from one of the human ships. Kalth accepted it. Captain Day One's face appeared on his screen. The two leaders looked at each other. Kalth tried to speak with authority, with strength. I am War Prince Kalth. I offer my surrender. I will face trial for my crimes. But spare my people. Spare my world. Day One said nothing for a long moment. Then he held up something. A small stuffed bear. Stained with blood. Do you see this? Day One asked quietly. This belonged to a 5-year-old girl named Mina. Your soldiers killed her. You ordered that attack. You are responsible. I will accept punishment, Kalth said desperately. Execute me. Imprison me. But please, no, Day One interrupted. You do not understand. This is not about punishment. This is not about justice. This is about making sure no one ever makes this mistake again. Your civilization ends. Your military ends. Your government ends. Everything you built dies today. So that everyone in the galaxy learns this lesson. Never harm a human child. The transmission ended. Captain Day One led a boarding party to the planet's surface. War Prince Kalth made a final stand with his personal guard. They fought well. They were skilled warriors. It did not help them. Day One moved through them like a force of nature. He felt nothing, no anger, no satisfaction, just emptiness. When he finally faced Kalth, the War Prince expected some kind of speech, some declaration of victory or explanation of human superiority. Instead, Day One just showed him the stuffed bear again. Then he executed him. No words, no ceremony, just death. War Prince Kalth died understanding what he had unleashed, but understanding came too late. When the hour ended, Admiral Yuna gave the order. The human fleet fired on the Dravith homeworld. Not to kill people. Most civilians had evacuated. They fired on every government building, every military academy, every monument to Dravith military glory. They erased the symbols of Dravith civilization from existence. The planet remained habitable. But it was no longer the center of an empire. It was just a planet full of refugees who had no government, no military, and no future as a unified species. The campaign lasted 68 hours in total. In less than 3 days, the Dravith Empire ceased to exist. Their military was destroyed. Their leaders were dead. Their civilians were scattered across the galaxy as refugees, marked forever as the species foolish enough to kill human children. The human fleet did not celebrate. They simply stopped. Mission complete. They formed up and prepared to return home. On the bridge of the Vindicator, Admiral Yuna looked at the final casualty reports. 0 human ships lost, 43 personnel wounded. 2 killed in boarding actions, Dravith casualties, over 2 million military personnel. Complete destruction of their government and military infrastructure. Approximately 15 million refugees displaced. It was the most one-sided military campaign in galactic history. And it had all happened because someone had hurt a child. Admiral Yuna closed the reports. Send a message to all human forces, she ordered. Well done, return home. Mission accomplished. She stood and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, 7 people had died because the law failed to protect them. Now everyone knew. Humanity would protect its own. By any means necessary, the galaxy would never forget. 3 months after the Dravith Empire fell, the Galactic Consortium convened an emergency tribunal. It was held on the Consortium homeworld, in the Great Hall where galactic law had been written centuries ago. Representatives from 300 species gathered to decide humanity's fate. The charges were serious: genocide, violation of galactic law, crimes against sentient beings, destruction of a civilization. If found guilty, humanity would face severe punishment. Economic sanctions at minimum. Possible expulsion from the consortium. Some species even called for military action against Earth. Admiral Una walked into the hall alone. She wore her military uniform. She carried no weapons. She showed no fear. Behind her, the massive doors closed with a sound like thunder. 300 species looked at her. Some with anger, some with fear, all with uncertainty. They had never seen military power like humans had displayed. They did not know what to do. The head of the council spoke first. He was a tall crystalline being whose species had helped write the original galactic laws. Admiral Una, you stand accused of genocide against the Dravith species. How do you answer these charges? Admiral Una looked at him calmly. I do not answer to this tribunal. I am here as a courtesy, to explain what happened, and to make sure you all understand what will happen if anyone repeats the Dravith mistake. Anger rippled through the hall. You murdered millions, another ambassador shouted. You destroyed an entire civilization. You violated every law we have. Admiral Una nodded. Yes, we did. And we would do it again. We will do it again if necessary, because your laws failed to protect our children. When law fails, we enforce our own justice. The council head tried to maintain order. The law exists to prevent exactly this kind of violence. Without law, we have chaos, anarchy, species destroying each other. Admiral Una smiled. It was cold. Your law was supposed to protect diplomatic vessels in neutral space. That law failed. The Dravith broke it. They killed children. Your law did nothing, so we created a new law. Our law. It is very simple. Harm a human child and your species dies. No trial, no debate. Just extinction. This is barbaric, someone shouted. Yes, Admiral Una agreed. It is, but it is effective. I guarantee you that no species will ever attack human children again. They have all learned this lesson. That was the point. Ambassador Vreth stood slowly. Everyone turned to look at him. He had survived the indomitable. He had witnessed everything. His testimony carried weight, council members, he said quietly. I have studied human history extensively since these events. I have learned something important. Humans are not like us. When we face threats, we calculate. We negotiate. We find rational solutions. But humans have something we do not, an instinct so powerful it overrides all logic. He pulled up images on the main screen. Historical battles from Earth. Mothers fighting to save children. Fathers standing against impossible odds. Communities rising as one to protect the young. This instinct makes them unstoppable, Vreth continued. You cannot negotiate with it. You cannot reason with it. When triggered, humans become something we cannot comprehend. The Dravith learned this too late. We must not repeat their mistake. Are you suggesting we do nothing? The council head asked. That we accept this genocide. Vreth looked at Admiral Una, then back at the council. I am suggesting we understand reality. Humanity has shown us their full military capability. They destroyed a major empire in less than 3 days without losing a single ship. If we move against them, we will lose. All of us. They are not bluffing. They are not exaggerating. They will do exactly what they promise. The hall fell silent. Everyone understood what Vreth was saying. Humanity could not be punished because humanity could not be defeated. The revelation was terrifying. Admiral Una spoke into the silence. We do not want war with the consortium. We do not want to conquer anyone. We simply want to live in peace, to raise our children in safety, to explore the stars like everyone else. But understand this. If you threaten our young, if you hurt even one human child, we will erase you from existence. This is not a threat. This is a promise. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. We are building a memorial at the location where the Indomitable was destroyed. It will honor Dr. Hana and the children who died. Every species is invited to visit, to remember, to understand what happens when you cross this line. She walked out. No one tried to stop her. The tribunal continued for 3 more days, but everyone knew the truth. Humanity would not be punished. Could not be punished. The galaxy had a new power, and that power operated by different rules. 6 months later, the memorial was complete. It floated in the exact spot where the Indomitable had died. Captain Day One oversaw its construction personally. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. The memorial was a massive sphere of crystal 50 meters across. Inside were holographic images of the 7 who died. Dr. Hana smiling. Children playing. Mina holding her stuffed bear. They moved and lived in eternal memory, preserved in light. At the base of the sphere was a plaque. It was written in every galactic language. The message was simple and chilling. Here died Dr. Hana and 6 innocent children. They were murdered in violation of galactic law. The law failed to protect them. Humanity did not fail. Remember their names. Remember their faces. And remember, harm a human child and your civilization ends. They whispered, run. We suggest you listen. Ships from every species came to see the memorial. Some came to pay respects. Some came to understand. All came to remember. The memorial became famous throughout the galaxy. It was a warning, a promise, a line that could never be crossed. Captain Day One visited the memorial often. He would float in space nearby, looking at the hologram of Mina playing with her bear. Lieutenant Tesu came with him sometimes. They rarely spoke. There was nothing to say. One day, an alien child approached the memorial with her parents. She was a small, furry creature with large eyes. She looked at the holograms with sadness. Why did they die? She asked her parents. Her father knelt beside her. Because bad people hurt them. But those bad people are gone now. Humans made sure of it. Are humans dangerous? The child asked. Admiral Yuna had been standing nearby, also visiting the memorial. She heard the question and walked over. She knelt down to the child's eye level. Her stern face softened just a little. Are you a human? The child asked. Yes, Admiral Yuna said. I am. The child looked worried. Should I be scared of you? Admiral Yuna smiled. It was a real smile this time. Warm, gentle. No, little one. You do not need to be scared. Humans only hurt those who hurt children. As long as you are safe, you have nothing to fear from us. In fact, if anyone ever tries to hurt you, any human would protect you. That is who we are. The child smiled back and hugged her parents. The family moved on to continue viewing the memorial. Captain Day One had watched this exchange. He walked over to the Admiral. That was kind of you. Admiral Yuna looked at Mina's hologram. It is true, we destroyed the Dravith to protect children. All children. Not just human ones. That is the real message of this memorial. We enforce protection for the innocent, by any means necessary. The galaxy calls us monsters, Day One said quietly. Let them. We know what we are. We are protectors. And if being a protector means being a monster to monsters, then I accept that. Lieutenant Tesu joined them. He looked different now than he had a year ago. Harder, older, but still determined. Sir, we have reports coming in from border territories. Several species have implemented new laws protecting children. They cite the Dravith incident as the reason. Admiral Yuna nodded with satisfaction. Good. Then Mina's death meant something. Then Dr. Hana's sacrifice changed things. Children across the galaxy are safer now, because everyone knows what happens to those who hurt them. They stood together looking at the memorial. 3 humans who had been forever changed by what happened. 3 humans who had helped unleash hell upon those who deserved it. The memorial's lights pulsed gently. Inside, the holograms of Dr. Hana and the children played in eternal peace. They would never age, never suffer, never fear. They were gone, but they would never be forgotten. And across the galaxy, in military academies and diplomatic schools, a new lesson was being taught. It was taught to every species, every commander, every leader. The lesson was simple but absolute. Humans are peaceful. Humans are diplomatic. Humans will follow your laws and respect your customs. They will be good neighbors and strong allies, but never ever threaten their children. Because humans are like the honey badger from their homeworld. Small, peaceful most of the time, and easy to underestimate. But when you threaten what they protect, they become absolutely unstoppable. They will not flee. They will not surrender. They will fight with everything they have until the threat is eliminated completely. The Dravith had learned this lesson. They had learned it too late. Their empire was gone. Their military was destroyed. Their people were scattered refugees. All because they had made one terrible mistake. They had hurt a child, and that child had whispered one word: run. The galaxy learned to listen to that warning, because when humans said run, they meant it. And if you did not run, if you stayed and fought, you would discover what hell really looked like. Admiral Yuna, Captain Daewon, and Lieutenant Tae-Soo left the memorial together. They had work to do, ships to command, borders to patrol, children to protect.